Tonight is December the 18th, 2016. I made one video on this old receiver when I first got it, but I want to show you some great progress I've made on it. It's the R-390, the older version, the non-A. There's an R-390 and an R-390A. This is the older version. I've cleaned up the front panel. It looks a whole lot better than it did. Still not perfect, but I'm going to have to live with it. I've certainly seen prettier ones, but this one works extremely well. What I have just finished on it, well, yesterday, but I thought I'd document it today, is the alignment procedures. Of course, we're not going to go through every alignment tweaking on it. We'd be here for hours. But I wanted to show you my approach, and maybe it'll help others and encourage others to be very careful. But you can align this thing. The book that I got off the internet for free. This one right here, the Field Depot maintenance manual. Here's its TM number. You can find it easily enough. It did have some problems that I had to actually fix. That's what I documented in my first video. In the first video, let's see, this bridge is bad. I think it's bad just about all of them. It's called CR801. This little antenna relay right here, oh darn, where is it? I hate to fumble when I'm trying to show you something. This antenna relay right here, K101, which is actually located right there in that little box right there. It's probably gummed up, so you'll have to take that out and lovingly clean it. Pull all these off. I put fingernail polish on. I put yellow and yellow, and orange, red, white, white. You know, just so I know I can get it back in the same place before I disassemble it. So I had to do that relay, and there's another relay here. I believe it's K601 or 602. I don't remember. There's another relay underneath it that's in that circuit that you'll probably have to clean too. Okay, and then once you, pull out all the tubes one at a time, lovingly clean the sock, the pins on it, put them back in, etc., and you get it to pretty well working, and you think you're at the point of alignment, then here's the way I approached it. Maybe this will help. I hope so. Right here, page 91, alignment. All you really got to have is a voltmeter. I actually happen to have the actual one they call for, the TS505. That's a miracle, magnificent old voltmeter. You don't have to have that. I do recommend an analog meter. I started at first with this Tektronix, but with all of those digits, flying around, it'll make you insane. I think you'll do a better job with an analog meter. You might even be able to use the old triplets or the Simpsons, but they do specify like an electronic voltmeter. I guess they want a higher impedance one. Anyway, that I used the one they actually even recommend. One of the things you have to get in here and figure out right quick, or this will just drive you insane. Turn on the AN/URM-25. Well, that's your signal generator. Connect the TS505. See, your TS505. So you have to get really straight in your head really quick. When you see the TS, you're talking about your meter. When you see the AN, you're talking about your signal generator. That's really all you got to have. And then you start. Read it, understand it, go through it very slowly, carefully. Here's the pictures of how it's laid out. I'll show you what I did in here to keep myself straight. Is I put little, I labeled them. The way this thing is laid out, when you start, and you start from the lowest end and go to the highest end, this is actually the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might think it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but that's not the way Collins did it. I'm sure they did it this way for a very good reason. Number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And you can see that these pieces right here are different from this one. 1, 2, 3, and then I think this is the antenna. I don't remember the details of everything, but anyway, I labeled them all. And then when you start aligning it, for example, let's see, Well, right here, you can skip some of it if it's not really messed up, and it says go to F down here, so you can skip this piece. You go down here to F, and then you hook it all up. You put your 455 kilohertz into it, just like it says. Band switch to 0.2. So then you align T506, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 7. So you do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 7. That's why I labeled it, because you're always going like, where in the heck is that? So this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one is one set of procedures. And you do it the way they say. And then you go on down, then the next one is 501. Then you do this one, per their book. Then you do Z501, per their book. And then somewhere down here you actually jump back over here to this one, Z503. So you can't, you have to do it in their order. Then you go down and, well, then you got I haven't done the crystal oscillators. I don't think I need to do that. I may check that at some other point. That is the only part I have skipped. A lot of these made a significant difference. Here's the second alignment of second variable IF stage. They tell you how to set it all up. You inject a signal into E209. E209 is down there. I think I got it set up there just for kind of the demonstration I was going to show you here. I don't know if that's 209 or not. Anyway, yeah, it is. And then you just read this very carefully, and then it says adjust to slugs for Z222, 3, and 4. See, Z222, 3, and 4. So that's a procedure. And then you do this as a procedure. All of this is one big procedure. And it works. This thing went swimmingly well. Just unbelievably well. Nothing was broke. But there were some that made that were off quite a bit, and it made an enormous difference. This thing is alive. I am extremely pleased with it. This thing is every bit as sensitive as this little Ten-Tec and ICOM. Anything I can hear on here, I can hear on here. Now I have to admit that the tuning is a little bit more of a challenge. It is, indeed. But this is it went so well. Well, I was just going to show you, for example, maybe some things that still might help. Let's see. I've set it up for this 1.9. Modulate this thing at 1.9. They want it. See, they tell you to modulate it at 30%. Put it at 2.1 megahertz. It's down about minus 90 dB. Hope you can see all that. So you got to get your signal generator turned way down, so that you have approximately 5 volts. 5 volts will be right in the middle. It's on the 10 volt scale. And then you can hear it. And then you go through and you start tweaking it. And then you go to the next stage. You tune the receiver to 1.1 meg. And your signal generator to 2.9. And then you adjust the trimmers. So they're showing you, in this case, how to adjust 222, 3, and 4. 222, 23, and 24. As in all receivers, you would, for a band spread, you adjust the inductors for the low end and the capacitors for the high end. So you go through here, you go through it 2 or 3 times, combing through it, so to speak, get it just right, and then you go to the higher frequency, and then you do the little trimmer capacitors. You probably will need an insulated screwdriver. I use this one. I don't think you have to have a plastic one. It doesn't seem to matter. I guess one side of these things is grounded. But there is voltage on a bunch of these little capacitors down in here. And if you stick this thing down in there, guess how I learned, and then touch it to there, pow! Well, so you don't want to do that. But this is how I kept it straight. Like I say, you align it here and here, then you align these two and this one, and then this set, and then this set, and then this set. And if you just go very much right by the book, keeping everything turned way down until you got about 5 volts across that diode, then it comes out extremely well. Now, with all that said, Whoa. Let's turn this thing off. Hope I didn't blow it up. Yeah, I have the antenna hooked up. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear anybody. But let's go up to 7 megahertz. That's what my antenna's cut for. You can hear it.
Come quickly. Lord Jesus, come.
Put the BFO on. Turn it down to the amateur band.
Now another.
That's not the amateur band, of course. 7 point. Let's go to like 7.2. There's that goofy noise that's always hanging around 7.204 or so. I don't know if we'll hear anybody on. Probably not. Not at this time of night. Actually, it's only about 20 minutes after 10. But you can hear it's very much alive. Oh, the antenna trimmer is very important. There you go. There was somebody actually on. Anyway, it made an enormous difference going through and doing the alignment. It's not that difficult. So I encourage you to bring these old guys back alive again. I took some suggestions from other postings on YouTube of how to clean all of the gears. It actually ended up pretty good. You know, this is not the slickest one in the world, but it's actually pretty darn good. You can take these modules out. You'll probably have to pull this one out and spray this this long switch that's in there. The way that you get these modules out, see, there's a green screw right down in there. If you can see that, yeah, I think you can see there's a green screw right there. And then there's another one, probably up front. Yeah, there's another green one right there. You take those out, and of course, mark and disconnect your connector. This thing just lifts out. Taking this out would be something that is way beyond anything that I would attempt, because you've got to do a bunch of funny stuff with the gears. Pulling the modules out of the bottom are the same way. Like these green screws right here, I actually marked them because I had to have the power supply out. And then there's some in the bottom. Comes apart, and it's actually not that hard to work on. So anyway, the fact that I went through and marked these things helped keep me straight. Really helped keep me straight. Made a lot of difference. Made it quite easy, because it's really easy to get lost and turn the wrong one, and you go, oh damn it, now what have I done? And then you're backing up trying to figure out what you may have fixed earlier, what you may have adjusted earlier, and what you just messed up because you grabbed the wrong component in here. So I hope this helps preserve these old 390s. Yeah, this thing's magnificent. Sounds good. One of the things you do need to do, let me show you here. If you just use this local gain right here, it gives you plenty. I think it's a ½ watt. This one right here, this line level, this line meter, and this line gain is like for driving an amplifier, so that I guess you could put the audio over the whole ship or the whole airplane or whatever this thing is in, but you probably don't need that. You do the local one. It does have, you do need a transformer. You use this one right here called local audio, and I do have a transformer on it, a 500 ohm to 8 ohm. This feeds the 500 ohm transformer. Transformer is actually mounted inside the speaker right here. Actually mounted to a little bracket on the speaker itself. A line transformer. I use the this input, antenna input. I don't use the 125 ohm one. If you do, you probably need to build a balun for it, which shouldn't be too hard. Here are the probes for that old receiver. That old meter. I did have to years ago when I got this thing. I did have to change these wires right here. Not, I don't think I had to change this one, but you see this one's supposed to be green, and the AC is blue. I was able to keep it blue. Actually need a green wire here, And the way these meters work is you can put it in DC minus, and that way you don't have to reverse the leads. And then you put it in plus and it reads center scale, or regular DC ohms, etc. Really nice little meter. It's full of tubes. All the tubes in it are original too. You take it apart by loosening those big screws down there and pulling it out. These things have no electrolytic capacitors in them, so they don't go bad. It's actually quite accurate. I don't have any issues with the accuracy of it. And here's those test points. One other test point you use, I believe, is like test point 4 over here when you do some AGC adjustments, which is one of those series of adjustments. Oh yeah, here's one other thing, that if you pick one of these guys up and you got it like you get it the same way I got mine, is you don't know which one is which. But here's the two AC input wires right there. I don't know what those other two are. But this is 120 volts AC. So you see I've got a line cord here. I got it's grounded right there, the green wire, and the black and the white there. This remote control, I don't know anything about that either, so I'm not going to worry about it. But sometimes, just getting started. Oh, this 20 amp fuse over here, actually when you get underneath it and you start looking at it, it's actually no connection to it, so you don't even have to put that in. That's pretty meaningless. The only adjustment I didn't do was these crystal oscillators, which there's a bunch of adjustments behind here. That might make the dial a little bit more accurate, and at some point when I got really nothing to do, maybe I'll get into that. I think that's pretty much it about this old receiver. I always forget something, but these things are magnificent, and it's awful heavy. Seems like the older I get, the more heavy equipment I get. Speaking of heavy equipment, let me show you this one. This thing was given to me last Friday. It's an old HP spectrum analyzer. Goes up to with an external mixer goes up to 46 gigahertz. As is, it goes up to 2. It actually came from a place I used to work, White Sands Test Facility, NASA lab. That's right across the mountain from Las Cruces, on the other side of White Sands Missile Range. Same thing here. These things are bolted together. They have a nice piece of blue metal that bolts them together on both sides, but I can't move it. It's just enormously heavy. This thing's got a bunch of tubes in it. Got 12AX7, 6 DJ8, a couple of VR tubes, a couple of some very strange Hewlett-Packard type tubes, which Hewlett-Packard seems to love the strange tubes. Maximum input is 1 milliwatt, 0 dBm. Got to be very careful with that. Should always, on your spectrum analyzer, you should always use like a 20 dB pad and even a DC block. This one doesn't say anything about DC, but my other spectrum analyzer, this guy up here, specifies 0 DC, and it'll handle up to 1 watt. But I do still keep a DC block on it and a 20 dB attenuator. Oh, this thing right here runs circles around that other one, but it's also 40 years younger. But inside, this thing is just absolutely magnificent. I mean, they built this stuff to last, and it still works. Original tubes in it with the HP logos on them. I know this is about the R-390 and not this. You can't set these things up on the bottom, which is the way it was when I got it. This thing was bent all to hell, but I was able to straighten it out. Anyway, that's that. I think I'm going to be giving some more big heavy equipment tomorrow. God knows what I'm going to do with it. Can't even move it around. But anyway, if you get one of these things, I hope that this video has helped you how to get the DC to it, how to repair your antenna relay and that old selenium rectifier, which is probably all bad. Clean it up, pull the tubes out one at a time. Clean the pins, put them back in, etc. Label them nicely so that when you go through the alignment procedure, you're not always grabbing the wrong one and doing yourself in. And this alignment procedure, it works. Really pleased with it. Really pleased with the old receiver. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.